Okay, so here's the switcher on this screen. Now again, we've got a newer layout where there's a aux row and it looks a little different, but the reason we're doing it this way is so we can have these 3 extra buttons here, so you can manage the more time machines you have. So the other thing that's going to be new for you is the DSKs over here.
Yeah, 2, 3, and 4.
2, 3, and 4, right?
Because, like you said, this
is the default.
It counts as a default.
Correct. Correct.
Okay.
And this DSK1 where it's lit right here, this indicates the load path if you were to double click on a file. So I don't know if in the past if you've...
Yeah, I used to, like in the past, if I double click, say it falls here.
Yeah.
And then the light will go somewhere here.
Correct.
Like green, it will lit green, and then when you click it, and then it falls onto...
Paste this here. Yeah, so just by double clicking, it automatically loads into DSK1. I would recommend that you actually make it go into DSK2 because of any effect you might be running. So
DSK1 mostly, I've seen most of the effects fall into DSK1.
Right, correct.
If I double click. But if I drag and drop on DSK2, 3, I can drop any.
Correct. And just by clicking on these, it will load into whatever, instead of loading into one, it loads into whichever one of these I have selected.
Oh, the one that is highlighted.
Yeah. This is called the default load path.
Yeah.
So depending on which one you have selected, it will load into that area. So if I select 3, for example, and choose this one,
it will fall into 3.
Yeah, it falls into 3.
Because, you know, I think we are on the right path, because earlier on, when I switched it off, I switched the GlobeCasting on, but I tried the same thing that we were doing like yesterday, you know, creating different DSKs and then putting them.
Yeah.
So I did it, but this is something new. You see, like, I know now I have to like highlight so that it can fall in there.
Right.
Because I was like drag. Sometimes when I double click, it just falls.
Right.
And delete the other one.
Yeah, yeah. So, you don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'll highlight it from now on.
Yeah, and you can just like leave if you think that 2 is the best one to keep highlighted. You can just keep that highlighted all the time.
Oh, okay.
And then just drag and drop. You can still drag and drop files other places if you want.
All right. I think drag and dropping also sounds okay to me. So.
Yeah. And these are stacked on top of each other. So, for example, you know, whenever you load these graphics, you have to be thinking about, you know, where you want them to be in relation to each other. So, for example, if I put this graphic here in this DSK, while this one is running, so I've got this graphic running and I'm loading this DSK. When it's finished, it's a big DSK. When it's finished, it covers the other one. So the other one is running still, but it's covered right now.
The other one is running behind it.
Right, behind it. So you have to keep in mind that 1 is the bottom and 4 is the top.
Or they go like 1, 2, 3,
sandwiched, 4. Yeah.
Okay.
So that way you can, if you think about it, you can build your effects that way. So for example, if I put this graphic on 1, and I'll put this graphic on 2, and then I can put, you know, this graphic on 3, and finally, if I wanted to, maybe this graphic on 4. And you'll see what happens. So I've got this banner on the bottom. I've got this guy that's on top of that banner, and then a graphic that comes underneath, or over on top of that. And then finally, one more graphic. If I'd done it the other way, you know, and then these would be behind these. Right.
Yeah. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3. It goes like that.
Correct. If you want to turn them all on or turn them all off at the same time, you can select them here and hit stop.
And they will all stop.
All stop. Or auto, and they all come on.
All right. Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just kind of turning them on, one at a time and turning them off one at a time. And they all have loops, so they'll turn off on their own, at their own time, which might be kind of odd. So it's better probably to stop them, Or you can add fade values. So for example, this one just turns on. Do you see that on? And then you want to turn it off, and it won't go off until it's finished its loop and finally drops off. You can go into the properties and set a duration of fade. So it fades in and faded out. So if we want it to be a quarter second, for example, we can set it to be 7 frames. Let's set here 7 frames. And save over original. So now when you run it, it fades in and fades out. See that?
Okay.
And the same
on as well, yeah.
Right. That way it comes in and off when you want it to as well. Same thing here. If you wanted it to fade in and fade out, you would just go to the properties of this one and set it 7 and 7. You can put it in anything you want.
Yeah.
It could be longer. The bigger the number, the longer the fade.
Bigger the number, yeah. Save it over original file.
So now it goes on and off when I want it to.
So it's the same as when you go into the character generator, and then you're creating maybe like a scroll.
Yeah.
So you have to go into property to set it, for fading and fade, not the fading and fade out, the speed.
The speed, yeah.
You can set the speed also as to how fast you want it to scroll, or
correct,
or slow, and all that.
Yep. Crawl. So we say, this is an example of a slow crawl. We set it at speed of 2.
Maybe 2, yeah.
And auto, and you can see it go across the screen very slowly.
Yeah. Okay.
And then if you want to change that, you can just go in
Change
and set
the
it
number.
for 5, and then auto.
So also the bigger, the faster.
Yeah, the higher number, the faster. Yeah.
Okay, we'll go to character generator just now. Let's just see brainstorming, and if say now I've got all this. What do you call them, by the way? The DSKs.
DSKs, these are just DSKs or overlays. There's several different names for them.
Okay.
Lower third, overlay.
You can put almost whatever you want to put
Correct.
on the DSKs.
When you're looking at in our software, typically DSKs in our graph, like when you look in the bins, you see a downstream key when it's black in the background like this, or when it's gray in the background like this.
Okay.
Like all your graphics you've ever made, you can quickly determine if they're effects or DSKs by looking at this.
All right. So if it's an FX, it's like an effect. Effects will mostly fall into
this.
FX.
Yeah, into FX. So, if you go into dual warp, or actually let's go into PAL dual warp. These live boxes, they're typically, you can tell an effect when it has like this little triangle or this oval on it.
Okay.
And so if we load this up, you can see it's loading into the FX window.
Can you do squeeze backs here?
Like that one? So it takes 2 sources and squeezes them back.
No, like say, can I run a squeeze back? Say I got a paid advert, maybe in strip or something like that, and I'll squeeze your main into. Can I set up? Oh yeah, this is it. You just set the time for in and out as well, isn't it? Can you do that?
Yeah, well, actually, it just pauses until you tell it to come forward.
Oh, okay.
So you would run it back, you know, when
So
your
it's after
video
the
is
other clip
finished. Yeah,
dies and then bring it back.
right. Now that one, if you look at these, there's names on them. Like if I go to list, so it'll tell you program to program, program to preview, program pushback. So you would really want program to program if you were doing that.
Yeah.
So for example, here's your host speaking, and let's queue up your video. So I'll just go to the time machine and queue up. We'll just queue something up here. We'll say this is going to be your commercial here. Okay. So you could, you know, pre-roll it and then run the effect. So to pre-roll this clip, the quickest way is just to hit it on the aux bus right here. So I would recommend that you give, you know, maybe a second or two on the front end. You know, so I'm going to punch this. It rolls. See how it's rolling it here? And then I pull the effect in, and there's your commercial running back there. And, you know, you have a counter here you can view.
How many seconds you got left?
Yeah, how many seconds you got left. Now you have to assign which one of these counters like it's set for. And what I mean by that is, you know, currently it's looking at TM5. If you want to look at, maybe your commercials are going to be on TM7 because there's 2 time machines in here. You have to go to, I think it's global settings, and change. Where do you change that? Maybe not here. Maybe you right click on these. No? Somewhere.
To show, now it's showing TM1, eh? The count. Is that what you're showing now?
It's actually
It's on
TM2.
TM2.
Yeah, the first one that loads is TM2. I think it's in switcher options now that I think about it. So if we look at, yeah, TM clip counters. So count up, count down, hide counters, show most recent TM clip, show time machine 5 only. Maybe we'll use show most recent clip. That might be better. Let's see if that works. Might have to reload it. Let's see what happens.
So it's all on manual check. I can't go with one button, program it, and say change made it roll the background or you roll one and key on the other one.
Not in a live situation, really. You just gotta have to load the effect and have your thing queued up.
And then just
Only because it's a preview source. Now, if it were a program source you were going to, it would automatically roll it for you. But since you're on a program and you're revealing it, and then you're going to come back once the commercial is over to your program source, it's always on the preview bus.
So even all your effects, once you load it, you have to physically take it in and out.
Correct. Yeah, the effects, you know, are triggered by the operator. There's a way to build a timeline to run down, you know, but it's really going to be more trouble than it's worth at this point.
I used to control a lot at one part of my life. This is 12 sports studios.
Is that right?
Studio.
Yeah.
Hundreds of buttons I still operated.
Yeah.
And then what we used to do is that I should set the timer. 10 seconds squeeze bangs, got a picture, I put it, and then bang, I'll have like macro.
Yeah.
What I see, and I woof, I hit it so it's saved and we're just running all the time.
Yeah. There are macros in this thing, but they don't work very well. So, you know, rather than having you depend on something that doesn't work very well, I think that's
no, we'll play around with this, and then later you can just show it where it is, and when we have the time to do that. Your aux input, I could take an outside input in there.
Yeah, these are actually inputs. It's just like everything else. So if you go to effects, in my PAL dual warp, picture in picture. So basically that's choosing, you know, sorry, I should do that. Like that. So that aux is input 1. That's camera 1. That's camera 2. Right? And they're being squeezed back. And then I hit this again and it brings me a preview source. And then, you know, in this color bars that you're seeing here, this is program. So let's choose that on program. And then we can
so your bus line is there, you got preview at the bottom, you have program.
Correct.
Then you got what is keyed on air when you say key.
Key is for the chroma key.
Yeah, what is going on air, or
Yes.
you got a key preview?
Yeah, key preview is for what's coming next.
Okay.
This, yes,
key
key.
program is what is tied with the program.
Yes,
itself.
correct. These two are
Okay.
tied together.
And then your aux would be another input that you want to put in.
Correct.
Say I'm doing a production and maybe like I'm doing news,
Mhm.
and she's wada, and I've got a clip, and I would need to have it at one of the inputs.
The clip could be, if you're coming off a tape, it's going to come off of an input.
Okay.
If you're coming off of our recorder, then it's going to come off of an internal router source.
Say I've got it on disk,
Uh-huh.
and then I would connect it to your GlobeCasting and add it as an input.
Uh-huh.
And then my news presenter say wada, I'll probably do an effect or something like that and get into that clip, play the clip, and then I'd come out with that.
Right.
But then I then need to start that clip as well, isn't it? Is there a way? Yeah, no. I'd have to start the clip and then squeeze to it, or then do cut to it.
If it's internal, then yeah, you'll have to start it through our software somehow, unless you're cutting to it again. Once a time machine clip gets
Live.
yeah, when a time machine clip gets cut onto the program bus, it runs automatically. Yeah, I'll show you what I mean. So right now I've got this clip on preview. Okay, you see how it's not rolling right now? Okay, as soon as I cut to it on program, it's going to automatically start rolling.
And how many seconds can I keep on your time machine clip?
You can keep like 10 hours on there.
Oh, so if I've got a 3 minutes insert to get it to run auto, when I'm cutting, I could just save it in the time.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So you can take it, if you have the insert on tape or something, you can just play it in and record it to the time machine. You would just go into panels, and then you either use I would use the TM Clip DDR, since there's 2 time machines in here now, and choose which time machine you want to record it down to.
Each one carrying 2, yeah?
Correct. So this one's the time machine 1, that's what this clip is on, and you've got time machine. You could record it to both if you wanted to.
And what is it? Time machine 1 and time machine 2, and what's the other one's name?
Here you mean?
Those are from different sources, 2 time machines that you have, yeah? But you said you're getting 2 out of each time machine.
Right. So
what is the other labeling?
So basically, each time machine can have 1 record channel and 2 playbacks. So that's why you're seeing only 1 of these. There's not 4 record channels.
Record meaning, how would you record?
Well, just basically select it. So if we wanted to record, live.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, this is the recorder, the camera view, right?
Right. So this is what I would be recording right now. Program out. Whenever I just select which one of the cards I want to record to. Just choose one.
Effect or just what's
everything. Everything on program out. If you want to isolate just a camera feed, you can choose program out here and change it to an input. And it'll only record that input.
Now it's an effect, yeah?
Right, now it's everything. So if I hit record, it's going to start recording. There's the first thumbnail of the clip that I've recorded. This is like a...
So it's going to be until 7.
Correct.
You know what? First thing first, because I think we're rushing to some other things. Let's do a live
chroma key.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's something we need.
Yeah. Let's focus on the things you're going to do.
Go into small things.
We'll go into small things.
Yeah. The effects and all this, we can come. So we started GlobeCaster and.